Okay, hi everyone. This is Lauren. I started a nonprofit called Save One Person, and I'm going to be doing YouTube videos several times a week. Why? Why? Because there is so much hatred in the world. And as Rabbi Simon Jacobson says, the only way to dispel hatred is to do the opposite, which is love. So it's about taking action, positive action. You know, Governor Andrew Cuomo said, one of the things I love about Governor Andrew Cuomo is he too is a very action-oriented person. He says, in terms of the riot, the protesters, how about taking all of that injustice and all of that raw energy and putting it into action, putting it into now's the time for reform and change. And perhaps there's change in a practical way in laws, laws and changing the way police officers are allowed to do their job with no choke hold, or putting your knee on someone's neck, or exposing the records. But there's a whole nother spiritual component, and that's the spiritual component I learn from my sages and my rabbi, and that's to dispel darkness with the light, right? So first, I want to discuss two things today. One is just something I've noticed, because racism is on everybody's mind these days, and it's the forefront, and you have the world marching for it. But I want to tell you one thing, and I did a post about this on Facebook, which is, where does racism start, right? What's the origin? I can't talk about every single place. I can only talk about what I see actually in my own home. And that starts with my most precious, my son. I see what he watches on TV, right? And maybe I didn't catch it sooner, but I heard some racial slurs coming from him, and I wondered where he got it, because in my life, I grew up in a working class community, and there was never racism that I saw where I grew up. And I worked with some very amazing Black people who were my superiors, who were my bosses. At Court TV, I had a Black boss. He was a creative genius, and I worked for, I did cue cards for downtown Julie Brown. I always had the utmost respect and awe for her. And then even later on in life, Howard Thompson, he worked at Pix 11 in New York for many years. And he too was like a world changer. He and I, and of course, a producer who wishes to remain anonymous, he doesn't like his name out there. But we actually found people living organ donors. So I never in a million years, I always had the utmost respect, and I never had an issue. But obviously, there's tons and tons of hatred out there. And why am I bringing this up? I am bringing this up because in my own home, I heard some racial slurs coming from somebody I loved very much, a little man. And I'm like, where are these words coming from? Where are these words coming from? And I saw that they were coming from TV. Specifically, I saw racial slurs coming from shows like Family Guy, The Simpsons, and I realized too late that I have to get a handle on those shows. And yes, they have TV 14 and you can put parental controls, but two things: you can't unsee what you've already seen, and secondly, kids know how to get around parental controls. But my question is why is the media packaging something that divides people in children's programming? At a very young age, this racial divide was impregnated, and put in the conscious or subconscious of my child and, children around the globe. I want to tell you, 20 years ago when I was in Israel, I remember seeing a TV show. A Jewish organization was showing us where hatred is born between the Palestinians and the Jews. And I can't talk from the Palestinian side, but I saw a Sesame Street show for Palestinian kids that was teaching the kids how to hate Jews and how to hurt Jews. I won't get more specific than that. But I thought, even here in America, when you're poking fun at different ethnicities, what really is the difference? So I think one of the beautiful things about this movement is it's getting people to talk. And my step of action in terms of racism, my suggestion, and take that for what it's worth, probably that and a nickel can't even get you on the subway. But we have to start at making sure there's nothing in the media for children that's poking fun at different ethnic groups, however you want to label it. It may have TV-14, but don't put it in animation. And I think that's one of the conversations we need to start having with, to change these generational inequalities. Yes, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to change, bring money to the population, the poor population, and with the police reforms and things like that. There's a lot to do. But I think one of the steps of action should be for our smallest little members of in the community, which is children. Do not have fun, do not poke fun at different ethnicities in the media, in entertainment, in television shows. That's number one. That's my number one point. Take that for whatever it's worth, which may be nothing, but that's my viewpoint. Secondly, what I want to say is I started an organization called Save One Person. We highlight different people who need life-saving organs. And it could also be other things as well. But generally, we stay with kidneys, livers. Yeah, would you like to give a kidney? Would you like to give a portion of your liver? And believe it or not, strangers have given kidneys and part of the livers to complete strangers. And a matter of fact, one of my favorite stories is this woman, Marissa, white, who never saw a Jew before, gave her kidney to and she was a devout Catholic, gave her kidney to a Orthodox Jew in LA. Another one of my favorite stories, especially in these times of racial divide, is a woman, Sarah Toffoli, a white woman from New Jersey, saw a story for a man who needed a kidney. His name was Torrey Green in Florida, and he was black. She saw the story. Her heart went out to Torrey, and she gave him a kidney. Talk about bridging the two worlds. So I think the best way to dispel hatred and racial divide is to extend love, extend compassion, extend saving a life to your neighbor. And my call to action is, for my website, saveoneperson.org, my call to action is go to urgent requests, scroll through the lives that are in danger, and see if you'd like to donate an organ to someone. Some are black, some are white, some are from every corner of this world, from across the globe. Go find a life to save. The best way to dispel hatred, is to take an action to save a life. We've all seen on the news the rioting, the looting. To me, that's not the solution to this racial divide. To me, the solution is black helping white and white helping black. And there's no better way to do that and to save the life of your brother or your sister. So may you be blessed. Thank you for watching. And, let's start a new revolution, a revolution of kindness, a revolution of saving a life, a revolution of making a difference in a positive way, one that shines light globally. And thanks for listening. Take what I say for whatever it's worth. Go to Save One Person, go under Urgent Request, and find a life to save. Thanks, and have a great day.